All right, so we need to write the equation of a line that passes through the point 3, -2, and is parallel and is perpendicular to the line x minus 4y equals 6. So this is the parallel perpendicular part. And what do we know about parallel lines, Ed? Same slope. They don't intersect, they have the same slope. These are all the important pieces of information. But the problem is x minus 4y equals 6. I don't have my slope, do I?
Not yet.
Not yet. So what we need to do is over here, I'm going to write x minus 4y equals 6. And I'm going to go ahead and solve for y. Okay? So minus x, that gives me -4y equals -x plus 6. And then I just simply divide by -4 to get y equals negative over negative is positive. So I'm going to write 1/4 x. 6 divided by -4, that's going to be -3/2, or 1.5. And if I look at this line here, it's the black line. Okay, it's a little hard to see. It looks like this is my x-axis, and this right here is my y-axis. It does look like I'm crossing, all right in the middle of -1 and -2. So that's a good sign. And then my slope of 1/4, well, I can double check that. Okay, let me see if I can get these points to line up. That's a point, and that's a point. Up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like my slope is good too. Okay. Now, my slope for a parallel line, as you guys told me, is the same. But what about for perpendicular?
Opposite.
So I'm going to go ahead and write, I'm going to flip it, that's 4/1, and make it negative. So I'm actually just going to write -4. Why am I not going to write -4/1? It's the same thing. Now that I have my slope and my perpendicular line, okay, if you guys remember the point slope form from yesterday, I can use that here. Do you guys remember it? If not, you can always look back. But the point that we're dealing with is 3, -2. Okay, my point slope form was y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. You guys remember that?
Yes, sir.
And remember I said it would come in handy at times? Kind of comes in handy in this problem. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to label my point, which is x1, y1, and my m's already labeled. So I'm going to write 4 minus a -2 equals 1/4 times x minus 3. We cool with that? Clean it up a little bit. Y plus 2 equals 1/4 times x minus 3. Now I could stop here, that's fine. Okay? But you guys are going to be taking the SATs at some point this year. Maybe that's not an answer. Maybe all the answers have it in y equals 4. Okay? For the sake of one sign, they might stop right there. For the sake of the SATs, they might have the answer as y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to distribute that 1/4. That gives me y plus 2 equals 1/4 x minus 3/4. Then I can go ahead and subtract 2. And that gives me y equals 1/4 x. -3/4 minus 2 is, watch this, 2 3/4. Okay? Are you okay with that? So, sake of WebAssign probably stops right there. Sake of the SATs, that goes right there. So that's how you go from there. Now for perpendicular, same thing. Perpendicular, that's my slope, or that's my point. I'm going to use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. What's that, Justin? Am I good? Okay.
said thank you.
Oh.
Wait.
So, Jake, again, I'm gonna label my point. Maybe not. X1, Y1. Sorry, my board's not really aligned. This is the problem.
Yeah, the dot.
Last time I did that, I like put my pen down and it went like, it's like,
You should try it.
Yeah.
no, you're just trying to distract me. I'm trying to get this done.
No, it's just satisfying to watch.
Yeah, it's really fun.
All right, maybe it didn't. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug in what I got. So it's going to be y minus -2 equals m, which is -4, times x minus 3. Okay, clean it up a little bit. Y plus 2 equals -4, there's a quantity of x minus 3. Again, that's probably where WebAssign stops. Okay, it could be.
Wow.
Why? It depends on what WebAssign wants. Like I haven't made the assignment yet.
I don't know.
So I remember sometimes they were asked for like point slope. And then some of the answers went to like y equals mx plus b.
You're making up the question, right? Or
Well, they have like a database, and then I pick the ones that I like. But I teach it, and then however I teach it, it's based upon like then I go and pick the stuff. Because I don't want to pick it beforehand and then get boxed in. All right, so here, so like I said, maybe we have to go to like y equals mx plus b. So I would just distribute this out. You get y plus 2 equals -4x plus 12. Subtract 2. Y equals -4x plus 10. And that's probably where the SAT is. And if I look at my picture, I'm kind of reassured about all this stuff, right? The blue line is my parallel line. So right here, notice it goes through 3, -2. That point right there looks like it's between -2 and -3. So that looks good. And the slope looks good. This blue line is my perpendicular line. Okay, that looks like it's going to cross somewhere way up here, but that looks like it could be like 10, right? So we're good on that front. And then the slope, -4, well, that's a point, and that's a point, so it could be a 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like. All right, the box down at the bottom. All right, this is pretty much everything we've kind of gone over. So you might want to put a star next to that. It's a lot of information here. Let me clear this up. So basically, this is just the summary of the whole chapter. Slope of a line. All right, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. General form, ax plus by, they have it as plus c equals 0. I kind of call it as ax plus by equals c. There's not much of a difference there. Okay? Are you okay with that, Jake? Mm-hmm. Equation of a vertical line, equation of a horizontal line, slope-intercept form, point-slope form, parallel lines have the same slope, perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocals. It's kind of like, hey, I forget like what this chapter is all about. You can just look that. All right. Now it says Texas Instruments. That's on my calculator. All right, TI, the people who make your calculator, had sold a total of $12.6 billion in 2004 and $14.3 billion in 2006. Using only this information, write a linear equation that models the sales in billions of dollars in terms of years. So this is what they do. They hire some nerd like me to take information and make a model about it so you can predict the sales. All right, kind of like what's going on right now. They have a bunch of nerds like me working on the polls, making predictions, right? You're all following, I know. So, but that's where this stuff comes into play, okay? You ask where this is used, They're using it right now. There's somebody working for TI that's predicting the sales. There's somebody for United Airlines that is predicting the airline recovery. Okay, that's where this is being used. So for this, they're simplifying it. You have 2 points in 2 years. Okay, time always goes first. So I would write this as 2004. That's not 2004. And it was 12.6 billion. So I'm just going to write it as 12.6. The other one was 2006, and it was 14.3 billion. All right, so for A, I need to write the equation of the line. 2 things I need. All right, one, the slope, and another point, whether it's the y-intercept or just a random point, that's what I need. So let's calculate the slope. So I'm going to do 14.3 minus 12.6 all over 2006 minus 2004. This gives me, Hannah, 1.7 over 2 years, or in other words, 0.85 over 1. Now, there's a reason I wrote it like that, okay? Are you with me on that, Hannah?
Yeah.
Are you lying to me?
Yeah.
Hannah, do you see where I got the 2 points?
Yeah.
Do you see how I just plugged them in? Do you see how I got 1.7? 14.3 minus 12.6? 2006 divided by 2004?
Give them more than 25.
What's 1.7 divided by 2?
Oh, okay.
You okay, Jack? You lost in the sauce? Where you lost? Where did I lose you, Jack? Did I lose you here on this problem? Do you see how I got the slope? So that's it. You're good with the slope, right? From here to here is where I lost you, right? Just divide. So do 1.7 divided by 2. Do you have a calculator?
So is it just 85 cents?
Remember, it's billions of dollars. Okay? Everybody's okay with this slope. Now I need to write the equation. So Jay, which point do you like better? 2004 or 2006? Okay? So Jay likes 2006, so to write the equation of the line, actually I'm going to keep writing it in green. Jay, we're going to use the point slope form, so I'm going to write y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, right? You chose the point of 2006 and 14.3. The slope, okay? The slope, since this is confusing you, I'm going to talk about the 1.7 over 2, since everybody can follow me to that. Agreed? So I'm just going to plug this in. Y minus 14.3 equals 1.7 over 2 times the quantity of x minus 2006. Fair enough? Leah, you okay with that? A is done. I wrote the equation of a line. Okay, it models it. I'm using the time and the years. Okay? Justin, you okay with that? Cool. B. B says interpret. What does interpret mean? Nope. What? Define, in a sense. Anybody else? Franklin? Franklin?
Yeah.
Good. What does interpret mean?
Interpret.
Yep. Don't give me like a Webster dictionary where you use the word in the definition. Nothing's the worst. So what does interpret mean? Jay said define. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cody said to kind of like solve.
I did not say that.
It's on YouTube, so you did know.
Determine.
Determine, okay, it's part of it. Basically, what interpret means is take the information you're given and describe what it means. Okay? Which is along the lines of what Jay said. We're not going to define things. We're going to describe it. Okay? So it asked me to interpret the meaning of the slope. Now, this is where this piece of the slope comes into play. And that's where you were kind of a little confused, right? So 1.7 over 2. That means I'm going to make $1.7 billion every 2 years. How do I know that? Well, Y is in terms of money and in billions, right? We all see that? And X was in terms of time. That was my year. So to interpret this, I would simply write a sentence, and you guys are going to write it, okay? You're going to write a sentence that's going to be something along the lines of every 2 years, Texas Instrument will make $1.7 billion. But here's the problem with that. Hannah, when you're talking about things, do you talk about like every 2 years?
About what?
Like when you talk about something. Like say you're presenting something to a business. Do you talk about like yearly sales, biannually sales, decade sales? Like what is that lingo? Do you ever watch like Shark Tank?
Yeah.
When they're talking about the sales on there, right? Do they talk about yearly sales, right? So the reason why I wrote it like this, Hannah, was because notice the denominator is 1, right? So all I did to get from here to here is I did 1.7 divided by 2. And that gives me 0.85. But I wrote it over 1 so that I can write a sentence like TI makes 0.85 billion, all right, dollars per year. That per year is crucial. That's why the denominator is 1. It sounds better in a business meeting. You took business, right? So you kind of like have heard these things before, right? Nobody really talks about it as biannual. It's kind of weird. Like biannual, is it like twice a year? Is it every other year? All right. I don't know. The final piece says predict the sales for 2007. Here's how you predict it. We're going to take 2007 and I'm going to plug it into my equation right there. So I'm going to do y minus 14.3 equals 1.7 divided by 2 times, here it is, 2007 minus 2006. I'm just plugging in 2007. And I'm going to solve for y. So I have y minus 14.3 equals 0.85 times 1. Add 14.3 to both sides. And that tells me in 2007, if I'm Texas Instrument, I can expect to sell, let's see, 15.15 billion dollars worth of calculators. None.
Where did you get that third equation? See?
I cannot read them.
It says 2006, so 2007 minus 2006, because my board doesn't want to work.
Where did you get the equation for C? Oh, you
It's
just,
color coded.
you just took it over?
Yep. All right. Write an equation of the line that passes through the point and has the specified slope. We're going to make this easier, not harder. Ready, Jay? Do you remember the point slope formula? What was it?
Y minus Y would equal M.
Do you think you can fill that in for me? Fill it.
Y minus 1 equals 1 negative 1 x minus 3.
What type of 3? Negative 3, right? So minus and negative 3 would be a plus 3. Nice job, Jack. Leah, could you do the same thing for that one?
Are we supposed to do that or not?
You have to solve
That's it. Write an equation of the line. Isn't that nice sometimes? What do you got for this one? 5/4? Perfect. All right, last one here, okay? Now, you guys all know by now, right? I think outside the box. Right? I'm not very kind of yeah, well, let's do it this way. This way seems easy. Ready for this, Hansi? Guess not.
Slide.
Great.
Who else I got that I can pick on? Chris, you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. Now up here, I have 2 points, right? 3, -2, and the y-intercept is -2, right? So instead of viewing it like this, I'm going to view it like that. Right? Now, what do I notice about that point? I could. Let's do that. Justin, what's my slope?
-2 plus 2 over 0 minus 3.
What is that?
That is 0 over.
Thanks. Stop there. 0. Right? 0 over anything is 0, right? Unless it's 0 over 0. That's weird. So there is no slope, right? What type of line has no slope? Jake?
Undefined.
Not undefined. No. Vertical. Vertical has an undefined slope, so it is horizontal. What's the equation of a horizontal line? If you forget, look at the bottom of the other page. This horizontal line right there in the gray box.
Y equals B.
Y equals a number, right?
Yeah.
What is that number? What is the Y value?
Y equals
Done. All right, let me shut this down.